Right, let's move on now to this one. This is, we're going to stay within the cosseted and increasingly deranged bounds of tertiary education. This is from Friday's Times, Leo?
Yeah, so staff and students at Kent University are being encouraged to call their peers they until they can confirm their preferred pronouns. They've created a pronoun guidance document to create what they call an authentic culture of inclusion and help preserve human dignity. Although I think if you're studying at the University of Kent, you've pretty much waved goodbye to dignity. So this document refers people to a website detailing a list of possible gender-neutral pronouns that are in use, which include Z, XZ, A, Psi and Thon.
OK, what if you're studying English?
Yeah.
There's an issue here, isn't there?
What if you've got something else to do that week?
Right.
And you don't want to learn all these. I mean, this is the thing. You shouldn't get to pick your own pronouns. They're not for you. They're used by other people to describe you when you're not there. Why would you even care? Why would it matter?
I figured it out. You know, we've talked about this for a long time. I finally figured out why they're so insistent on the pronouns. As you say, it's not for people in the room.
No.
Right? It's specifically set up so the lie continues without them.
Yes, exactly.
Because I would use someone's pronouns, whatever, just to be polite. I think most people would just say, all right, you would refer to them as the name that they say they are.
Yeah, sure.
But to refer to them as the sex or the they, them or whatever, it's specifically so when they're not there, you have to keep the lie going.
I think it's absolutely a form of control. But and I'm with you. No, I'd use the pronouns that someone wanted if it was a friend of mine, etc. I'm not going to use she, or they about a singular person because I understand grammar. You know, this is ridiculous.
And when people ask for pronouns, which are usually, you know, obvious, and when people display their pronouns in an email signature, it's just a signal to say, I'm in this tribe. I'm in this tribe, and that's
right. So how do you push back against this? Because all the time I hear people say, well, it's just about being polite, it's just about being courteous, and it's not. It's about the implementation of a broader ideology. This is just one of those wedge issues. It's a way that they get this in.
Absolutely.
And it is really actually not morally right.
Of course it's not. It's like saying, I don't want to offend any non-Christians, so everybody has to wear a cross until we find out what they are or not.
Or that we should announce at the start of meetings our religious devotions. Which God do we particularly...
These are all great ideas.
Really?
It works well for the SNP leadership race.
But I just think we need to, at some point, start pushing back and pointing out that this is actually a really authoritarian thing that's happening.
We beat it with malicious compliance. So if you're called into a work meeting and you're asked, you know, what are your pronouns, you come up with ridiculous pronouns, and then they've got to follow those pronouns. And if enough people do that, it'll just fall apart because nobody can keep up with it.
I'm going to get some gigantic breasts.
Yes.
And start wearing them.
Yeah, well, that's that. I mean, well, we'll talk about that guy some other time because that's all kicking off. But I mean, the point is that this malicious compliance idea is interesting, but it could work because a lot of people now are using pronouns such as cake and toy and just the things they like, so that they are now frog gender because they like frogs, and you have to call them frog and frog self, right? And I'm not making that up. That's what some people are doing.
They really mean it, though, don't they?
But they are a tiny minority of people, really, really small minority. So why are we bending over backwards for just a few lunatics on TikTok?
Because people are scared of being seen to step out of line, and because HR departments have been captured by social justice as well, you know, they can enforce these rules across workplaces, and it's like how a small minority of people with an idea can enforce it across I mean, we were talking about it the other night on Headliners, how the Catholic Church just fell away in Ireland after being in such control. People want to obey on the surface, but underneath everybody knows it's nonsense.
And it should be said that the pronoun declaration thing is a slippery slope to compelled speech.
It is compelled speech.
Because some people are starting to be punished for not declaring pronouns.
You have a legal right to say no.
Yeah.
You absolutely are protected by the Equality Act to say, I do not believe in this ideology.
Yeah.
So then and if someone fires you for it, or you lose your job in any way,
you are protected.
You can sue them.
Because it is, to declare one's pronouns or ask for pronouns is a declaration or a test to see whether someone believes in the notion of gender identity, which is a religious belief.